Hi folks, right, I'm going to show you how I did the ballerina kit, the display that I've done, and it has been sold. Thank you very much to the buyer. I know you're going to love it, and I know she's going to display it. I've put a little black dot here just so that I can keep a gauge of where I am, because I don't want to disturb the camera too much if I can help it. Now, what I've done for the front of mine for this one, the last one I put in, the cameo, if you remember, well, this one I'm actually using, it's like a triple bow with a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous iridescent butterfly, and then just some pearl trim in the middle with the little fancy dangly bits. It's going to be pink and cream. Could end up all pink. We'll see how we go along. Not perfect, but you don't need it perfect, and I'm quite happy with how that's turned out. I'm going to just, well, I'm not quite happy actually now I've said that. I just want to turn it round a little bit. Yeah, that's better. How I did it, just did 3 different loops, like circles with the ribbon, gathered them all up in the middle at an angle, and then put the butterfly on, and then the trim, and then just added the bits to the back. And you're not going to see that because that's going to be on the project. So that's done, ready. Now what we need are the plinths, and I do have to paint those first. The thing I didn't get was my paint, but I'm going to gesso it anyway. Yes, I'll be back in a minute. Right, there we are. I'm going to do some gesso on that first, and then I will start and cover that. So for this I'm just going to use the heavy gesso in the white. For those of you who don't know, there are 2 different kinds of heat tools. You've got the long elongated one that blows everything everywhere. This is a Ranger's Heat It craft tool, and it is quiet-ish, a lot quieter than the other one, but it's a lot easier to use, and it doesn't blow your things all over. If you're embossing things, it doesn't blow it. Let's just pop that on the floor. I'm just going to wash my brush out because I do want to use the pink. Might need 1 or 2 coats. We'll see. So I'm going to paint from the lid, which I normally do. And for those of you that don't know, oh, that's pink, isn't it? Well, good job everything's pink and will match. That's all I can say. Yeah, that's pink, all right. So I'm just going to leave that to dry while I cover the other one. And for that I'm using the Pinflair bookbinding glue. Now I use this a lot with a lot of my projects, and as you will see, it sometimes has a skin to it. We'll just move that out of the way. I'm going to stick to the same brush. Hope you can see this. Let me just check. Yep. Now it is thick. Mine is quite thick. So what I'm going to do is just to water mine down. Sorry if you can hear that pinging. It never stops. It drives me mad. Look, I've got the colour in there now, which I didn't want, but hey ho. Not everybody could afford the actual ballerina kit, so my logic in thinking was to sell the plinths, the rods and the ballerina shoes separate, and then they can do what they like with it. That way everybody could get hold of the ballerina shoes. So just lift that up from that, and then once again just cut it around the edge. And then we can discard that. Now I'm just going to very carefully remove this, because that's finished with. Put your lids on tightly, folks, and we will just clear that away. Now this does have to dry off a little bit, so I'm going to help it along and hopefully not melt the fabric. This will, where you can see the glue, this will soak itself away as it dries. It'll just disappear when it dries clear. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. Now, you need something to make holes. Now, you could have done this first if you wanted to, but I didn't. And I don't see a necessity to do so. You need 4 holes in it, because you're going to put one plinth on top of the other. And I use this crocodile. And I'm just going to put one hole there. Slot it in there again and do one there. And then slot it in again. One there. They don't have to be exact, but get them in. Don't put them on the edge, because it'll just snap and break, and it's pointless then. But what you do have to do is to match them up. So I'm going to turn mine upside down. No, don't be silly, Fiona, you can't do that. See, I did mine last time before I did this, and I made a mistake because I couldn't get them to line up properly. So I'm just marking them out there. And then we can just cut that. Okay, now the rods that I'm using on this one and the rods that you all have got in your kits are actually bigger than the holes I'm making, but you can, when you can get this out, oh dearie me, you can just slightly, you don't need to do much, but do a bigger hole. Using 2 cuts. But I'm not going to do that because I'm going to cut mine down. Now here's the rod, and as you can see it doesn't fit, so we'll just move that out of the way for a minute. And the easiest way to do that is just to take a knife and just slice away at the bottom of the rod. You're going to cover them around the bottom anyway. I don't need that paper on. Take it off. Yeah, you're going to, or you could do if you wanted to, cover these up at the bottom anyway. So you only need to do that, and then they slot in where you want them. And we're just going to check this out. So what we're going to do is that will just fit into that. Now I want mine leaning. How do I want to lean in? Because I've got, what you do is you have 2 short, but one shorter than the other, and then these 2 at the back stay the same. So I'm going to have mine leaning this way like I did before. I do like it that way, and that's where mine will sit in there, and that one will sit in there. Don't worry about them. They will glue in, and then we have that one sitting in there, and that one sitting in there. Oops, sorry for that, sorry. And they have to be glued. So if I knew where my non-stick mat was, I could glue it, because I'm going to end up with it on my table, aren't I? Just bear with me. Right, I've got it. Right, I've got it. Now, I'm going to start and glue these in. And all I do is just drop the glue, sorry about that, into the centre and just hold that in place. Right, as you can see, I've now got that fixed on. Now what you do is, I've had to change this because I didn't quite have it in the right spot, or I've put it on back to front, upside down. But it's now leaning forward, and it's now leaning to one side, which is exactly what I want. Now I'm not covering these in paint. And what you do is you glue these in. So once you've shoved them in the holes, clip them, and then just glue a little bit of glue on top. And being on top of the fabric will actually help that. And you can always decorate around the edges with flowers and things like that. And also underneath, you just got a little bit of glue underneath the leg there. You can use a knife to, you know, or your nail. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to finish the base off first. Not quite dry there, but that will. We just make sure we're in view. Right, see, we're going to lift this up a little bit. Sorry, but it's really awkward because now I've got a full base underneath. But what I'm going to do is add some trim now. Move that out of the way. So basically what I'm going to do is just measure how much let me just see how much I'm going to need. It's got to go around there. Keep going. Oops. Round there. Back round again. Oh yeah. That'll do. Yeah. Just get that big piece out of the way. Now what I've got to do is just remove that for a minute, because what I'm going to do is to cut off this section. I don't need that at all. So you'll just bear with me. I'll do it as quick as I can and speed it up for you. Let's get this back here. Hopefully you can see. We need, this is the front, this is the back. I'm going to cut that a little bit closer, I think. Just when I glue it on the skirt, it will glue onto that edge and pin this down a little bit so it won't show. And that'll hold it in and it won't come off as well. You just leave enough to go over the edge. There we go. And we start at the back. That's it. Lovely. So it is going to be pink and cream. I'm just pinning that onto, if you can see, just onto the edge. It's fine. Oh, that's lovely. Now, problem, because the skirt's too long at the front. But you know what? I'm not going to fuss about that. So I'm going to sit this now on two plinths. I'm going to lift it up because I do want that whole front like that. So what we do is turn it upside down. Just leave that a minute. And we're going to do this section. And for that, I'm just going to use this bit of very small braid, and then I will chop that off. In fact, I'm going to chop that off now. A little bit of glue on there. There we go. Just get rid of all the rubbish. Yeah. So I'm just going to use, oops, nearly lost it then. We'll start at the back. And work our way around to the front. That's what I said, it's got to tuck over, so we need to make sure we do tuck this bit in. That's it. Is that a nice neat finish? Like that. There's no point in rushing things like this. It doesn't get you anywhere. So right, I've found this one, but I'm not no. And do you know what? I wish I'd put that on it now. Not sure at all. Let's just see where we go from here. So, I've got this, which is the beaded trim. I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy. Do you know what? I'm not. Really not happy with that skirt. Don't think they all need to have one on. I want a smaller one. I'm gonna get it off now. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna take it off. I don't like it. It won't go to waste. I can use it on something else. I did like this. I do like this. That has to go on there, but not. Yes, I do like that. I'm going to change my mind and do what I want. I think. Oh yes, it just didn't feel right. So I'm going to use this one. I'll be back in a minute. Right, what I've done now is I'm attaching the trim, which is the beaded trim, because I do want a beaded trim on this. And then I will go around and fix all of this, because I don't want it to stand in, I want it to come out a little bit. But when you put a trim on over another trim, oh, I hope that works. What I've done now is I've added some of this trim, but I'm not liking the way it's tucked underneath, so that will have to lift out more. I'll sort that out in a minute. What I'm going to do here though is now add some pearl, I think. Right, I'm back. Sorry if that's jolting a little bit. I've got what I needed. I just have to make sure they look good. So, let me just see. So I'm going to put, yes, I've made the right choice. So that is going to go on there. I'm just going to make sure that sits in there properly. Yeah. Right, I've just done a little bit too much on that. There, that's fine. I'm quite happy with that, and that's my stand. Apart from the spindles underneath, which I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with them yet. I think we need to start working on the shoes, and for that I'll be back. Right, I'm back. Oh god, it's been bedlam here. What I'm trying to do now is I'm just going to pad these shoes out. I've got all the bits and pieces that I need for them, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to double this, to be honest, and then I have to fill that. Let me just make sure we can see what I'm doing. You can. So I'm just going to get some filler. Now we need to put some filler in the bottom of the shoes. I'm going to do that now. Just pull these tabs. I found these shoes to be, how can you put it? More on the peach side than the actual pink I was after, but not going to see much of them when I'm finished, so that's fine. So I'm just stuffing them with some wadding, A little bit more, I think. Just the toes. Like that. Make sure we've got a little bit more in that one. I don't want the tabs in, but I need them on. I don't want to cut them off yet. So just put those to one side. And then what I need is some wadding for the shoe itself. And I don't want to do too much. And all I'm going to do is that way, I think. Wrap that over. Right, let's just have a look. You don't need a lot. Wrap that over there so it catches it. And then fold that over. Like that. And then take the shoe. And we're going to push that into the shoe itself. Let's just pull this. Oops. I don't want to glue it in. I haven't put the bloody material. Never mind, I'm not doing it. Right, so tuck that underneath, grip this, and then pull that shoe in a little bit like that. I'm not fussed about this at the moment. Like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move all that about a little bit. Like that. And just separate that around. Just so it brings that in. And then what you do is, whoops a daisy, just get the box off my glue gun. Like that. Just squash that in, that's fine. Like that. And then we pull that back. Gorgeous, gorgeous pink trim. There we go. Don't fuss about anything like this, it can all be trimmed off. There we go. Right, so now we've got to decorate these. I'm going to use a plain white butterfly on them. And I do have to get this right. Like that. So, let's have a look. There we go. Now it's just a matter of fixing this in like that. That's it. See? We've got that. Let me get a little bit closer. Hopefully you're still seeing what I'm doing. I hope so. I'll just pin that up there. Like that. I'm not fussed about that bit there. There's a nice pair of ballet shoes. Now, just a matter of finishing them off. So, what I'm going to do with, I think, I'm going to start with one gorgeous rose there and there. Yeah. I'm just going to do it there because I want to put some bits and pieces around this section. Oh, this glue gun. I need a new one. I do sell them. I do. I sell them. The thing is, if it's on too long, mine, it does get overheated type of thing. So I do have to, and that you should never do, is lay your glue gun down, ever. You really shouldn't. Just trying to get them, this, you know, equal. They're gorgeous. Look at them. Beautiful. That's it.